It was a great honor to design and make this so-called brain clock after taking into account the various opinions and ideas of researchers here at Cambridge University's Centre for Brain Repair in 2007. I have returned 4 years later, in 2011, both to see that all's well with the clock, and quite as importantly, or perhaps more so, to see Professor James Fawcett and his colleagues, who carry out research and treatments for the most truly devastating diseases which cause misery and suffering to those whom they afflict and their families. In my opinion, the public cannot expect miracle cures to appear overnight when they become afflicted, and we all in our own way and within our means need to throw our full support behind international scientific community now, in the present, if cures and treatments are to be brought about. And I know that Professor James Fawcett would like to explain further about his wonderful work carried out at this centre under his supervision.
Well, Colin, on behalf of the Brain Repair Centre, what I'd like to do is thank you very much for the beautiful clock that you've created for us. And over the past 4 years, when it's been a centrepiece in our institute, it's reminded us every day when we come to work of our duty and our aim to protect and repair the nervous system. So thank you very much indeed.
Well, I'm quite kind of relieved and pleased, obviously, that James Fawcett is pleased, and of course that it's still working fine as well. So I think with that, perhaps we might go upstairs, James, and see one or two of the researchers at work if they're not at lunch at the moment, or else just take a tour of the laboratories.
By all means, yes.
Thank you very much. Good. Hello, James. How are you?
So, Colin, we're standing here in the anatomy lab in the Brain Repair Centre on the floor above your beautiful clock.
Yes.
Yeah. So, just to explain briefly to your to the people seeing this video who we are, the Brain Repair Centre was set up around 15 years ago.
Yes.
And yes.
Yes.
And we have a fairly long list of diseases in which we're active. We're trying to protect or improve patients who've got Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease, Huntington's disease, stroke, traumatic brain injury, spinal cord injury, and glaucoma.
Very impressive list, if I may say.
Well, this sounds like a long list, Colin, but the general principle is that we're here to protect the nervous system from damage.
Yes, of course.
And to repair the nervous system when it's been damaged.
Yes, yes.
And these are a set of generic technologies.
Yes.
If we can conquer those, if we can develop treatments that do those things, then they address all these different crippling diseases of the nervous system.
So that even if you don't actually arrive at cures, at least you might be able to find treatments to make the patient's life much more tolerable.
Yes, we're aiming for complete cure, of course, but in between times we have a variety of treatments coming along that are going to be partial cures and partial treatments.
Does a lot depend on the attitude of the patient himself when perhaps he's got very severe spinal injury? There are one or two cases that seem to defy the doctor's diagnosis and manage to get better despite what the doctors have said in the first place.
Well, occasionally patients do get better unexpectedly, and of course you can't always predict how well a patient's going to do individually. We can say as a group how well people will do, but there's always individuals who do better or worse than we expect.
Yes, of course.
And of course we like the ones who do better than we expect.
Of course, naturally, yes.
But I think the other bit of background, Colin, for this is that, as you know, we're an ageing population.
Yes.
And there is an epidemic of neurodegenerative disease that is already with us, as you know personally.
Yes, I do, yes.
And is increasing quite rapidly as our society ages.
Yes.
So we've got 17 scientific groups here working hard to develop the treatments that we hope are going to overcome this epidemic in the next decade, 2 decades.
Well, I'm sure that yourselves here at the centre and other establishments throughout the world are plainly working their very best to get the results But I also think, as I said downstairs by the clock, it's also very much up to the public to try to support you in every way that they possibly can, so that even when the time does come for them to need treatment, at least they will have made the effort themselves to some extent.
Well, as you know, Colin, we do have patients in this
Yes.
in this centre who come to our clinic, and every single one of them has seen your brain clock and hopefully been motivated by it to work hard at their own cure and treatment.
Excellent. Well, that's good. I'm very pleased. I must confess that although it's been a great honour to do the clock, I'm just as pleased, or perhaps more so, to have an association with Cambridge University and yourselves. So perhaps we're both satisfied and pleased with the association. And I do thank you very much indeed for having me here today to make these video clips.
Well, thank you for coming, Colin, and thank you for the clock.
Delighted. Thank you very much, James. Thank you very much for helping me as well. Thank you.